You know, it's to get us back to who we are because we got work to do and we can't do the work if we are.
Let me drop one on you,
You know.
Alicia, right here, right?
Uh-oh.
Because Western media is our fundamental enemy, right?
Mm.
How many of you know who Dan Gotti is?
Never heard of the gentleman.
I gotta Google all these names. Okay,
The richest, the real richest man in the world, and he's Nigerian.
Mm.
No, step further. Let me just read this to you.
Thank you, Devin McCrory.
Dangote Oil Refinery has finally been completed and will be commissioned by the president of Nigeria on the 24th of this month, January. Dangote, 10 facts about the Dangote Refinery. Dangote Oil and Petrochemical Refinery is 650,000 BPP oil refinery, meaning they can produce. There's only a couple of oil refineries in the world that will be able to outproduce this African refinery. This is owned 100% by Africa.
Mm.
Nobody's talking about it. It is the largest single train oil refinery on the planet Earth, the largest in Africa, and the seventh largest oil refinery in the world. It is capable of meeting the energy demands of both Nigeria and the entire continent of Africa. It's about to open, but nobody talking about it here in the West. Dangote announced he would want to build a refinery in 2013 is when he started the project. And at that time, it cost $9 billion. It wasn't until 2016 that construction began. The refinery was originally meant to be built in the oil-producing state of Ondo. That's one of the river states. But they had to change the location. But they got it done. It's finished. And every oil field in Africa can now redirect. Instead of sending their oil to England or America or Saudi Arabia to be refined, it can be refined right there on the continent, which is going to save them tons of money.
Mm.
And guess what? It's going to bring in over 300,000 jobs across the spectrum. So many of our young people are leaving home, dying in the Mediterranean, trying to go find jobs in Europe, coming across the border in Mexico, trying to find jobs here. Well, this is one of the industries that's going to help them find jobs there. And this is just one industry. Before President, beautiful, Tanzania died, he forced the British to pay him reparations for the Tanzanian people to the tune of billions of dollars for them misappropriating the gold processing. And so now all Tanzanian gold is processed in Tanzania. And he took that money he got from the reparation to build schools, bridges, highways, and hospitals. Nobody talks about that in the West. So the brother asked, where are we going to be 20 years from now? We're going to be closer to where our goals say we should be. Because we're going to look around the continent and we're going to see all these things happening that we're not paying attention to. But we need to pay attention to, and we need to get closer to our people, our brothers and sisters on the continent, and learn to put these historical differences behind us through understanding our history. Because if your uncle is left in Africa, and your cousin is left in Africa, and your sister's left in Africa, and you got thrown on the slave ship, well, that's your family over there. That's your home. Of us have been there multiple times. So.
How is it in Ghana? Like, as someone who lives here in America and has been spoiled by a lot of Western accoutrements, I guess you would call them. How is the development in Ghana? Do they have modern type cities and all that type of stuff?
Oh yeah. The key thing to remember when you're traveling abroad, especially Africa, that people is people world over. In terms of the fundamental values and beliefs that people use in their daily life. But Ghana is one of the, there's an international airport for all of the big jets of the world land, and you think you're in Kennedy or Atlanta or any of those places when you come in. There have been a lot of development in the last 20 years. When I first went, I could count the skyscrapers on two hands. Now you can't count them.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Right. You have all of the business. You even have McDonald's down the street and Kentucky Fried around the corner.
Not that we should even act like all of this construction is necessarily, the advancement of civilization somehow. I'm just wondering.
No, when you look at ancient Kemet, what are you looking at? extraordinary historical constructions,
Right.
civic environments. We invented this concept, and we
There
were
were cities
retarded.
here in America.
Right, we were retarded by America and the West due to colonialism and slavery, but we done broke free now. You know, we black and we back. We broke free, and we try